Greetings everyone. Welcome to Self-Expression and Free Choice, a journey for women seeking alternative path to fulfillment. Hello, I'm Mira Spremo, and I'm here to introduce you to Dolores Goody, who will be speaking to you about her journey of self-discovery and how she reinvented herself after a long marriage that left her feeling stuck and unsure of who she truly was. Dolores has a remarkable story of courage, resilience, and transformation. She will share how she found the strength to break free, rediscover her voice, and create a life that aligns with her true desires and values. In this video, Dolores will explore the challenges she faced, the lessons she learned, and the tools she used to embrace her self-expression and reclaim her freedom of choice. Her journey is an inspiring reminder that it's never too late to start over, to reimagine your life, and to prioritize your happiness and authenticity. Whether you are at crossroads in your own life or simply looking for inspirations, Dolores' story is sure to resonate with you. Let's welcome Dolores Goody as she takes us on her incredible journey of transformation. Welcome, Dolores.
And thank you for joining us today. The starting point of my story is that it took me 4 years to finally make the big move. However, my journey began long before that, as my husband gradually lost his way in our relationship. For many years, it became a real struggle to maintain some kind of face to others, while behind the scenes, our marriage was filled with constant disappointments and frustration. I was left to struggle with our family of 3 young teenage kids while going to work and maintaining a household. I call these my hardest years on this planet.
Dolores, how did that make you feel?
I felt I was on my own raising a 4th child, a wayward 4th child. I was very lonely and extremely unhappy. Marriage became non-existent from about the 13th year of our marriage, and he made sure I knew it. A lot of mental abuse took place for many years. By our 19th wedding anniversary, I was feeling worn out. I tried everything I could to reignite the marriage. However, I was on my own, and that much I was sure about. I knew that nothing was going to save our marriage. I was told to go and find someone who could wine and dine me. Really, I thought. Soon after that point, I began seriously to consider moving on. However, I was unsure of how I was going to do that. Over the next 4 years, I suffered 2 mental breakdowns, and because I used to fear going home from work more than anything else.
Dolores, what started all of that?
He loved to play around. There are many stories I could go into, but I won't. Hence the mental abuse I experienced over several years, and eventually they took their toll on me.
So, how did you cope?
I didn't. I was living a life filled with mental torture. I think they called that mental battery abuse. Even the police told me to get rid of him on 2 separate occasions. But it wasn't that easy. I knew that I somehow had to leave because he was a master at deceiving everyone in thinking he was being hard done by. He didn't fool the police though. And I was right about him. He got his sympathy from everyone he ran to after I left him for good. He had everyone fooled, but not me.
What were the conditions you had to live with?
Well, eventually it became like blood sport for him to antagonise me in any way possible, even down to taking money from my purse all the time. If I hid my money, he would find it. The money was kept for petrol and milk and bread for during the week. On one occasion, he emptied out our bank account and went and had a nice weekend away with a woman and her infant son. He came back. Like a fool, I took him back, due to heavy pressure from family to take him back. So after I discovered the bank account had been emptied and closed, when I confronted him, he said, "None of your business what I did with the money." We weren't wealthy. The money was being saved up for our children's school fees and books and uniforms. I was left with nothing, not a penny. My trials and tribulations never ended there. They just got worse, hence my mental breakdowns. I saw doctors and a psychiatrist, where I started to learn more about what I wanted as opposed to what I was getting.
Thank you so much. It was very, very brave. How did you survive such a cruel behavior?
I think that I got so used to being so badly treated that I felt numb to how I was truly feeling. The only thing I can tell you is that I didn't want to be there anymore. On the other hand, I just didn't know how I would survive on my own. I felt fear on becoming single. I didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe in myself enough to trust that I could be okay being single. That year I had left for 6 months, taking my youngest son with me, but we moved into a dreadful flat, hot in summer, cold in winter, and it was just plain nasty. The flat was horrible. As it turned out, my ex wasn't paying the mortgage, so I went back to the house and rescued the house from being taken by the bank. He used the threat of losing the house to lure me back, but that didn't last for very long. My mistake were that I didn't plan well enough before I left. I had not made sensible financial plans, and so I was left feeling vulnerable. Lucky for me, I had completed my graduate diploma of education. At the end of that year, the 4th year of the worst years of my life.
What brought you to leave for good after that?
I had worked in hospitality as a casual while I did my first degree that I had completed 4 years earlier, and then also with my second degree before becoming a secondary school teacher. I had worked for New Year's Eve over the other side of Melbourne. We were sent home slightly earlier to see the new year in with our loved ones. I arrived home at around 10 minutes to midnight. When I arrived, I didn't receive a pleasant home welcoming. I had interrupted my ex while he was busy with other women online. Therefore, I was just an irritant disrupting his pleasures in life. He got up and went to the loo, and I had a look at what was entertaining him. I didn't like what I saw. I was shocked. I looked at the clock. It was 3 minutes to midnight. And I said to myself, I cannot do this anymore. I will not spend another year with this man. I was happy to walk away for good the next time, as no amount of bricks and mortar was ever going to hold me back ever again after what I saw he was doing online. I left for good 3 months later after my daughter's wedding. I went as far away from him as I could get. I went to Sydney on an invitation to start a new life. And so, feeling that I had nothing left to give, I went packing. My saying on leaving was, I didn't fail, I just moved on. Because if you are loved and cared for, you don't go anywhere.
How long were you in Sydney for, and how was it for you living there?
I was in Sydney for 2 years. I lived in Parramatta. Moving to Sydney was like a breath of fresh air. It was good for me to start a new life. I rediscovered myself, taking the initiative in shaping my life the way I wanted it to be. For the very first time in my life, actually. I volunteered for the Sydney 2000 Olympic Games. That was exciting to take part as a volunteer. I would not have had that opportunity if I was still living in Melbourne. I found employment quickly while I waited for the New South Wales Board of Education to allow me to begin my teaching career. When that came through, I spent 9 months working at a school in Western Sydney before I decided that I was ready to see the world. By now, I felt different to when I first arrived. I felt confident and self-reliant in knowing I could now do whatever I wanted to with my life and that there was nothing to hold me back anymore.
So what's your message to women now who are stuck in an unfulfilled marriage thinking about leaving?
The first thing is that things can only get worse. They very rarely get better. If you're hoping for a better life, believe in yourself first and foremost. Every woman watching this will have their own story. What I say to everyone is trust in yourself instead. It doesn't matter how long you've been married. You have enough skills to get you through living a much more meaningful life. Chances are that you make a lot of decisions for you and your family already. So why not make decisions for yourself as well? The one thing I recommend, though, is that you must plan how you are going to leave your marriage. And if you've got people in your life telling you not to, ask them to walk a mile in your shoes to see if they would like your life the way it is now. On another note, an interesting fact that has come to from the Australian Bureau of Statistics in 2023 is that long-term marriages averaged 13 years and ended in divorce. The average age of women is at 44 years, showed that many women were considering significant life changes later in life. The data also highlighted a societal shift among Australian women, where marriage is increasingly as a less of a lifelong commitment. This is mostly due to the shifts reflecting on the emphasis on personal growth and independence, with many individuals choosing to explore new life paths at different stages of their lives. While all these factors are now the norm in our society, it may still be very difficult to leave your marriage, and you most certainly wouldn't make that decision lightly or on a whim.
Are there any pitfalls for women in taking such a challenge to move forward in their lives?
You will confront some uneasy challenges as you transform from the idea of a traditional marriage to being on your own, and that's only natural. In self-expression and free choice, if you choose to join the program, we will guide you through making safe and empowering decisions. Together, we'll address any concerns you may have as you navigate the significant changes and choices ahead. The good news is that you will be sharing your ideas with other like-minded women in a safe environment, while the topics for each session will also help you to understand what you must plan and look out for.
Why is planning for permanent departure important?
Effective planning is essential to simplify your transition and navigate your new path with greater ease. You are about to make a significant life change. Taking the first step will set you on a path aligned with your future that you truly desire. By joining a group of like-minded women who are also ready to move forward in their lives, you'll gain the support and shared wisdom needed to explore your options together. The timing of such an event is entirely up to you, as with all the decisions you come to make for yourself. Everyone will have their own story, and some may want to share while others may not. This is entirely your right to your privacy, but if you want the best out of the program, you ought to consider some interaction and communication to move all of you out of your comfort zone. This is very important. It is important at this stage to stipulate the significance of why you are all in the group. You are there to support and help each other with your choices so you can move forward with confidence, only if you wish to share them.
What benefits are there in group settings?
Joining the group will enable you to pick up tips for your endeavours to carve out a new life. You will strictly be in a non-judgmental environment where everyone respects everyone, even if you do not agree with each other. If we don't have some rules, you won't feel safe, and you must feel safe in this environment. You will have decided to allow yourself to transform by taking part in what will hopefully be a great game changer for you. Keep in mind that each of you are on your journey to seek an alternative path. I would also like to give you this final thought of where you may be right now, that leaving a long-term marriage is like shedding an old skin. Just as a snake outgrows its old layer, a woman has evolved beyond her relationship, must leave behind the familiar, no matter how tight or comfortable it once felt. to step into a renewed and more authentic version of yourself. So why not join us on the next group intake? Call to make an appointment to book a free strategy session with me so that we can ensure the program is right for you. There is no pressure on you. That is why the program is called Self-Expression and Free Choice. You can call me on +61 450 747 529 or email me at dolores@aspirationsunited.com to arrange a free strategy session, and I look forward to hearing from you. Namaste.
Namaste. And thank you for sharing your life experience with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Namaste.